Friday, November 22nd. I think it's the last Friday of the week, of the month. And this is our first meeting after the workshop, which was a very exciting time where a lot of us met face-to-face in the Global Symposium, the OHDSI Global Symposium. So today I think we have a quick agenda. I thought we have not met after the workshop, and I know everybody's working on their different topics, but I thought today is a good time to just catch up and see what we have updates on the different topics, and also have some discussion of the topics we want to cover in our next in the coming meetings, because there's few things that we said during our workshop. We said that this is something we could schedule a call on. So I posted the agenda on the Teams on the channel itself. And maybe let me just start with if we have any newcomers that have not introduced themselves before. Let me see. I see familiar names. Andrea is here. Daria, Dr. Boyce. I don't see any new people, but anybody would like to introduce themselves? Okay. Okay. So we have few updates. Let me start with any reflection on the workshop. Anybody feels they want to share something about the workshop or time together that they want to reflect. We did receive the feedback from the survey, and it was really nice, positive feedback. A lot of people were very impressed with the VA work, which is a signal that we definitely need to continue on that for the coming year. But any other reflections anybody wants to share?
The average score was 4.9. I think there was 1 4 and everybody else was 5, which is, I think, the highest of all any work groups that received any feedback in the community. There was about 8 or 9 responses, which is also a reasonable sample size. So that's good feedback. In terms of the textual comments, there was kudos to the VA teams of the Yaki, the great job, and also for everybody else who presented. It was one of the comments was the very interesting content, and the engagement was very high.
Yeah, I know I've connected with some folks after the meeting, and yeah, I think it's been really useful and just a nice way to get to know others in the community. And yeah, I actually wanted to follow up today about scheduling a demo and getting more into that. So yeah, we're definitely looking forward to discussing more.
Perfect. Before, so the second bullet I put is actually we have few topics that we want to discuss. We want to use our time together. The next maybe 5 or 6 meetings are already booked for topics that we raised up in the discussion in the workshop. But before I go there, let's see if we have any updates on so I don't hold people. Because that's going to take the bulk of the call today. So let's see if we have any update. The one from me is I'm still trying to get the objective diagnostic paper, which is basically the DME paper out, which is also a topic that we want to take a full a full Friday morning to discuss. Gautam and I are not ready yet because Gautam had some changes the last 3-4 weeks, which took us a little bit away from that, but we'll be back to it. And so I need about 3 weeks to finish that objective diagnostics, which is discussed in this DME paper, and then we'll share this paper with you, and also we'll spend an hour and a half on coming Friday, go over those objective diagnostics for cohort diagnostics or for cohort evaluation. So that's my update. Is Jamie Weaver in here?
Yeah.
I don't see him. Okay, so let's postpone the update on the measurement error work. And then we have the misuse. I see Dr. Boyce is here. You wanted to give an update?
Hi, everybody. Good morning. My update is that we discussed with this group about the potentially inappropriate medication definitions and we had a wonderful discussion about how to proceed to move those towards integration into the Phenotype library. One of our decisions also was that the Beers criteria that we had implemented was the slightly older version, the 2018, 2019, and there's a newer version out that came out in 2023. So we're just going through and revising some of the definitions to line up with the 2023, so everything's current when we submit it to the Phenotype library. So that's in process, and given the season, it could take us a few weeks with some of the holiday and some vacation time that people are taking, but we'll be working on that. Should have it done by the end of the year.
That's great. Dr. Boyce, does it make sense? Because we said the form that we would do that is we will help you get the JSON objects of your final definitions into the library, and then we'll spend some time from our Friday meetings to basically do a QC or check the definitions, run them on other data sources, and do like an official evaluation just to make sure that it makes sense on our side, like on other data sources, because I know you guys are doing it primarily on one data source, on your data source, and we can see how those cohorts look like once we run those definitions and say claims data. And so we thought that the good form that is useful for the people on the work group and for you and for us is to have like book maybe 2 or 3 Fridays to go over those cohorts from Cohort Diagnostics, because we can run, once we have them, we can run them on some other data sources and run Cohort Diagnostics, which is a tool that allows us to just look at the characteristics of the people who met the criteria, and then we can see if that makes sense, just kind of face validity stuff. And that would be something that is useful for the community, because now the definitions will exist in the library and been evaluated, and for you because it gives you feedback on how these definitions perform, and if there's any modifications that you will need to do or anything like that. And definitely that's something you could publish.
Oh, that's a very helpful reminder of the process. I really appreciate you reminding me about that. So would it make sense to kind of book that out? Because
yes,
Xiaoteng Li, who's our RA, who's working with us, and who'll be primarily doing the operationalization and assistance. She's out next week, but she'll be available, I believe, on the 13th and the 20th. And I can also make time to be on the call on those days. Are either of those Fridays a good date to start, or is it too soon for y'all, or what do you think?
let's. You said say the dates again. Sorry, I didn't catch it up.
Oh, 13th and 20th of December.
Okay. So Gautam and I will be out starting the 17th. We have 2 weeks of our holidays. We'll be in India, but we can either maybe push out a little bit. If that's fine with you.
Would that be? Can we do that the first meeting of January as a planning session? Because we need to do the OKRs for the year, and we could make that one of the OKRs for next year, and maybe even that could be a topic for the Phenotype February. We don't know.
Awesome. The 10th of January works great for me if it's working for you all.
Yeah, so that gives you time to update the definitions to the more recent version too.
And gives us time to take it and run it, because we also need time to, which is something like Gautam, that's something that the J&J team will have to.
Right. Can you imagine? I mean, I'm just imagining a state where the definitions are updated in December and it's made available to the community. We set up the environment to run a network study in January and get the results available for February, for Phenotype February. If that's even possible, that would be phenomenal, I think. Just as an idea.
This is the best time to do it. We have the manpower to get a lot more time in this than we will after February, because the funding that we're doing this under ends at the end of February, unless we get an extension. So yeah, we'll be delighted to put that effort in.
Yeah, let's figure out. We'll see. Let's
Let's see if that is possible.
Yeah, let's put, because we have to have a bigger discussion about Phenotype February and what ideas people are willing to lead and stuff like that. But that could be a possibility. But let's see, at least let's see, we will have 2 calls in January, so potentially they will be maybe used for this topic.
Thank you.
Okay, that's great. And to your point, Gautam, instead of just us, like, we can even put a call if anybody wants to run those definitions on there, because I know that there are some other members in the community that are something like those definitions might be might be of interest for them. So they could maybe want to contribute on running them on their own data sources and contribute to cohort diagnostics as well. So we'll put it as a, no matter what we do, we will make sure that we're inclusive, and we'll put it out for anybody who would like to run them.
Thank you so much.
Okay, that's great. Let me go back to figure out what also we want to schedule out. So the topic that, yeah, so objective diagnostic, I'll go back to that. So we will definitely need a call for that. So if we spend the January calls on the I keep calling them misuse, inappropriate use definitions, then maybe February calls will be gone for Phenotype February. How about we do January? How about we in January do one call about the inappropriate definition and one call for the objective diagnostics?
In February or in January?
Because I'm worried February will be all gone for the topic of Phenotype February, whatever that turns to be.
Okay. What were the two topics, Alison?
So we'll do the inappropriate definition, and then the inappropriate definition and objective diagnostics.
Okay.
And then the third topic we talked about was the Jackie, we want to hear more about the particularly about the way that you guys did the large-scale phenotyping and created those definitions that exist in the J&J library. And we would want to know more about the whole idea of large-scale phenotyping and how you guys did that from a method perspective, more of like the method behind it.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's in either February timeframe or March.
Yeah, that sounds good. We can plan. So it'd either be on the 14th or the 28th of March.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have to, like, February is Phenotype February, so we have to figure out what we want to do in that week. It could be that we adopt some of these things. We either adopt definitions from the community, which in that case, the inappropriate use would be like to Gautam's point, would be something we would like evaluating those definitions will be part of Phenotype February, or the topic could be more on the method way, which we could talk about large scale phenotyping. In that case, the VA would be appropriate. So it depends on the topic that will be covered.
Yeah, that sounds good. That makes sense. I'll just like hold a couple of these times on our calendar, and then as it gets closer, that sounds good.
The third topic, Joel, that we talked a little bit about, then where so much interest is about the probabilistic phenotyping. And if we want to spend some time in 2025 with probabilistic phenotyping and do some collaboration on that.
Yep, that sounds good.
Do we think that we need maybe to spend offline talk specifying a particular objective that could be one of our OKRs for 2025 for probabilistic phenotyping, and then and see how how the working group can support you or Juan or the people who want to maybe do some particular objective on it. Even what you did, Joel, just expand it into more use cases, because I know your evaluation was done on like those 2 phenotypes. Are you thinking maybe expanding and looking at others' definition?
Yeah, one of the things I'm thinking about is actually at the workshop that we did. A couple folks from Finngen, the Finnish organization, and they have a data set that combines OMOP data with GWAS data, and so that's a possibility. I mean, I haven't gotten too much details in them. We have a connection with Johnson & Johnson with Finngen, so we might be able to we can get access to their data. So that's something I'm going to be looking into sometime probably in December or early in 2025.
Sounds very good. So maybe as part as so Gautam, we need to have a specific call just for OKRs and brainstorm full ideas, which will include ideas for Phenotype February. So maybe we will need a call that will be dedicated for 2025 OKRs and Phenotype Februaries together. And maybe we can start something offline, circulate some ideas, and then just discuss it on a call.
Okay.
Is it too soon? So in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks is December 6th. Is that too soon to spend that call on next year OKRs and Phenotype February?
The 6th isn't a regular scheduled meeting, right? The 13th is? Was the 2nd and 4th, right?
Yeah, 13th is.
Okay, 13. That's actually good, and that's before people take off for the holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do December 13, a discussion on 2025 OKRs and Phenotype February. So we are at least decide of our focus areas, and then how we can work together for the next year. Okay.
Anybody else? Any other ideas or topics that you want to talk about? Daria, Andrea, Hayden. Okay. All right.
I think more.
Go ahead, Hayden.
I was just going to say, I think more could be done in the way of like user interfaces for phenotyping, or at least accessing the phenotypes.
Yeah,
and I think that might be like an open source group thing as well, but we don't really have some of this is maybe just improving the Atlas deployment that we do have, the demo one. But it just seems hard to collaborate on the last time we did Phenotype February, it's a little bit clunky to collaborate on developing them sometimes. So I wonder if that's something to look at for Phenotype February. That was my only negative experience with it, or kind of like opportunity that I saw.
Yeah, I felt the same that you have. The public instance of Atlas, the Atlas demo Atlas at odyssey.org, that's bombarded with spam and has junk, and it's very difficult to work with, and it's also very thin infrastructure. That's because it's free.
What
the proprietary
happened?
versions are powerful. Go ahead.
What happened to the Atlas COVID? That was a better instance.
Yeah, the budgets, there was nobody to pay for it, and it was taken down. I'm barely fighting to keep the Atlas-Phenotype for the Odyssey Phenotype library. And that's the original plan was to open that up in an access controlled way to the community, so that you have a sign up form where users would request access and they would get credentials for it. But then the credential management was very labor intensive, and we didn't have people to do that. And there was no support for it. So that idea kind of died on the vine.
Well, let's talk with Patrick and Evan and see how we can, whatever we decide. I mean, whatever we do will require the ability to build phenotypes on the CDM, which means require Atlas. But let's talk to Patrick Gautam and see a way maybe that the instance you have, the library instance can be somehow opened up a little bit for more people, the people who sign up to contribute during that month or something like that.
Even if it's a temporary instance just for Phenotype February or something might help. I know that there's a lot of people that would do phenotyping outside of Atlas if they have that, but the no code option that Atlas brings is very helpful for getting everyone kind of to contribute, regardless of their kind of programming background. So
yeah, exactly.
Good feedback.
Okay, so until we meet next time, that is the 13. We will so I will put a template for our OKRs and just put the topics and start nailing down something, and we can all review it before we actually meet and have the both the topics and the both Phenotype February topic and the OKR. We can spend the meeting just discussing a proposal instead of coming with a de novo. Yeah, for Phenotype February, we might want to open up for the community if they have ideas. So maybe I'll put a post on the forum that we're starting to think, and who would like to be involved and what topics would people like to focus on. Okay, we'll let everybody go early today as we promised, and we'll see everybody in 2 weeks.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good one.